A couple of months ago, there was a lot of excitement about the Friends reunion show that somehow is hosted by Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know how that works. I'm not getting into it. Parks and Rec announced that they're doing a reunion episode. A couple of weeks ago during quarantine, the cast members from The Office got together and did a reunion over Zoom. Like, there's a lot of excitement about reunion shows, but I don't think we'll ever see a reunion show for The Biggest Loser. And there's a couple secrets there. We'll look at a couple past contestants, see where they are now, and then I'll tell you some secrets from the show that we can apply to our own health and fitness journey to make your fat loss journey a success long term. What's good, Simple Achievers? Steve Hicks here, founder and coach for Simple Success Fitness, and today I want to talk about The Biggest Loser. You've probably seen the show. If not, you've definitely heard about it, and you probably shared a couple memes online about Jillian Michaels, or dreaded going to the gym and working with a personal trainer because you didn't want anything to do with Jillian Michaels. But that's all besides the point. What we want to do is we want to talk about the contestants, not the trainers on the show. And we want to talk about the contestants and where are they now? What have they done after the show? We want to give kind of a fake reunion show here. And I'm going to look at a few different contestants from the past seasons to kind of highlight the different journeys that they've gone on. There's been some that have been amazing and inspirational and that we want to follow. There's been a couple that, truthfully, unfortunately, haven't had the best success after the show, and there's some lessons there that we can avoid in our own journeys. And then there's some that are kind of middle of the road, that are having some successes and having some hardships and some revelations that we can learn from there too. So if we go back to the very first season, to season 1, the winner of the first season was Ryan Benson. He lost 122 pounds on the very first season. I believe it was a 5-month timetable. That is huge! That's a huge weight loss. And unfortunately, Ryan Benson created a documentary afterwards talking about the contestants and the contestants that regained the weight because he gained all of the weight back after the show. His weight loss journey, his 122 pound success, didn't stay with him. And there's some things we can learn there. In the very first week, he regained 32 pounds just from drinking water at normal levels. He regained 32 pounds of water weight. And we'll touch base on that a little bit more. Now, Ryan's going to be a highlight of some of the more tragic stories. Some of the stories where people didn't have the long-term success. But that's not the only story on the show. If we're being completely honest and if we're being fair to the show, there are some really successful people. Also in season 1, the runner-up, Kelly Minor, she lost 79 pounds in the season. Right? She went from 242 pounds down to 163 pounds. And better yet, after the show, she continued with healthy lifestyles and she got down to 140 pounds the last time I checked. So she's one of these people that used an extreme use some extreme habits to build inspiration and build excitement and use her results to catapult herself and motivate her to keep going. And that's awesome. That's where we want to be. And then probably more common is we have people like the winner of the third season who had one of the most dramatic weight losses in show history. And that was Eric Chopin. And Eric Chopin, he had some tremendous results in the show. And then he gained 2/3 of the weight back. And then he lost 50 pounds again. And then he gained some back. And he's kind of continued to go back and forth with some big successes. And then some small setbacks. And then some successes again. And he's having some troubles kind of yo-yoing along. But he is staying pretty active and staying pretty healthy. And he's doing better than when he started the show. But he's not quite as successful as you might expect from the end of the third season. Now, those are some contestants from the past and some of their stories, and there's different things that we can learn about this. Ryan Benson shows us one great example in that we don't really understand, for the most part, people have a poor understanding of knowing what weight loss actually is when it comes at dramatic levels. Now, most rational and most evidence-based and science-based nutritionists and physiologists will recommend that you're only going to lose weight at about 1 to 2 pounds per week of fat. And that is probably at maximum. Realistically, you're probably on the lower half of that spectrum at about a pound a week, which can easily be can be hidden for a long time based on fluctuations in water weight or muscle weight. As you build muscle, that will kind of offset the weight and fat that you lose, and it'll make the scale will become a very confusing place initially if you're doing things really reasonably and not going at the laser fast or the supercharged, the turbo speed of the show that we see is not sustainable. And like Ryan Benson showed us after the first week of returning to normal habits, 32 pounds of water weight gained back in 1 week. If you're having a deficit of 32 pounds in water weight, the scale is not telling you anything you need to know. So having a better context of what weight loss really is and knowing that the proper scale should be about 1 to 2 pounds, that can be even hidden. So you might not even see weight loss for a little while you're losing fat. The other lesson that we can gain from there is kind of talking about methods. The Biggest Loser, if you've seen the show, they use some really extreme methods. I believe in the last season, one of the contestants broke their leg during plyo box jumps. They were jumping on a box, missed the box, or they just had too much weight on the box, and their leg actually broke. It's not the safest and gentlest exercise. And if you watch any clips of The Biggest Loser on YouTube, you'll see they are exhausted. They are beat. They are crushed. They are working super hard to lose that weight. And that's just not sustainable. People aren't going to keep doing that. You've taken people out of their natural environment and you've put them into some really extreme nutrition and extreme workouts. And then when you give them back into their normal life, you're just not going to maintain 2 hours at the gym. I'm a fitness professional. I can't maintain 2 hours at the gym. Most of my workouts tend to be 30 to 50 minutes. I'm not doing 2 hours at the gym. It's unreasonable. It's dramatic, and it's not sustainable. So what we want to do when we do our fat loss journey is don't start with all the gears running, right? We want to start, and you want to just gently nudge the body. Just gently nudge the body forward. Do something that's really sustainable, something that you can maintain for the long term, and something that's not devastating to your body, right? Oh man, I wish I remember who could say this right off the top of my head, but there's this phrase that I really like, that inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it gets really hard. So just take it 1 inch at a time. Just go really subtle. Avoid drastic weight loss measures so that you can sustain this longer than that 5-month period. And then the final thing that we want to talk about is some of the people that have the best success off the show met during the show. And so they continue to support each other. They got taken away from their normal life and they got put into this camp together. And then they communicated with each other after forming some relationships in that camp outside. So they continue to support each other. And that's the people, and those are the people that have had the long-term successes, those that have had the best social support. And so we can use this to our own advantage in our fitness or in our fat loss journeys to just know that we need support. We can't do it alone, right? I do this a lot online with my personal training clients, is that I give them support. I touch base with them and I contact them every single day so that when there's a hang up, we can talk it through and then I can guide them to overcome that and keep moving forward. But you can also do this with friends and families. People that work out together tend to last longer together, and they do exercise more consistently because they have support from other people. So when you start a fat loss journey, if you have someone in your life that can support you and join you on that journey, that's going to set you up for a better success. And if you don't know anyone right offhand, set up for a coach. Online coaching can be a really great asset to you in keeping you moving forward and keeping you with support. Awesome, guys. So those are some really great lessons that we can learn from The Biggest Loser, because The Biggest Loser is kind of all over the place. They've been really successful people. They've had some people that yo-yo, and they have some people that have done dramatic things and lost all those results because they did things in a very dramatic fashion without proper support, and they lost weight that wasn't real, true fat loss weight. They lost weight that was water weight. So when we're doing fat loss, what I want you to focus on is It's going to be a slower process than what the tabloids or what the TV shows are telling you. It's going to be a slower process, and it might even get hidden by some beneficial adaptations. So don't worry about the scale too much. I prefer clients to do circumference measurements around their belly button, and as their stomach gets smaller, it's very obvious that you're losing fat, regardless of what the scale says. And then secondly, we want to do gentle things. We want to do gentle changes that are sustainable and that we don't immediately abandon once we hit our goals. And the third thing is find support. If you have support, that's fantastic. If you don't, reach out for a coach and we'll support you as you go along. Awesome, guys. If this was helpful, if this was inspiring, if this was a little bit eye-opening about the show, give me a like, put a comment down below, and make sure you subscribe to get more fitness tips every Tuesday and Thursday on this channel on Simple Success Fitness. Awesome. And then together, you and I can live a healthier, happier life.